The film you're about to see is successfully in 48 countries already since its release 2 years ago. What does it tell me? What does it tell you? There's a great need in this kind of information. Women are hungry for knowing their power, our power. And the main message in this film is about babies, of course. It's not about how more comfortable and how less painful for a woman, or how many less hours the labor will go. It's about the quality of the limbic imprint for the child. And what is limbic imprint? All these years of psychology, psychotherapy, since Freud, it was believed that the only part of the brain that is worth looking at was the cortex and neocortex. That's where the thinking, the speaking, the cognitive part of the brain. All the rest of the body was considered quite unthinkable. It turns out it's not true. Besides cortex, we also have reptilian brain that it has its own mind, so to speak. The reptilian part of the brain is right above the spinal cord. It's responsible for pure physiology. A woman in a coma can still menstruate and still can conceive and even keep gestating if she's pregnant. So that's the reptilian brain that is responsible for all the cells pulsating and all the fluids in the body keeps flowing. And then we have the most amazing limbic system of the brain. That's where our feelings and sensations live. That's where our ability to experience love or anger or any other emotions and feelings is governed from. So that mechanism of limbic imprint is working from that part of the brain which is not quite connected with cortex, where logic lives. So that's why our feelings sometimes, well, actually always are not quite logical, they're not rational. You know, we feel something even if our cortex might be saying this is not a good thing to be feeling, or it's not a nice thought, you know. We might not agree with our feelings, but we have them. So it's because they are built in the different parts of our head. And that mechanism of limbic imprinting is very, very powerful. It's setting up the basic frequency, basic range of frequencies that our nervous system will recognize as comfort zone for the rest of our life. That's why it is important. We all know about, well, I don't know if we all know, but it's well known for thousands of years to people who work with animals, with elephants and camels and horses, that if you train a baby elephant to stay put, you know, you train them to stay in the yard by tying them to a chain, and no matter how much they want to get away when they're just first tied, they cannot. The stick is too powerful. Then they grow up, and it would take no effort for them to break that chain, but they never try again, because their limbic imprint is set for very clear boundaries, that's all they can cover, that all the ground they can go to. And it's the same with circus bears, with people. I am really standing behind what I'm saying that limbic imprint was deliberately used on people by warlords and slave owners for thousands of years. If you train a baby for a certain level of suffering, that suffering becomes the comfort zone. So they don't object, they don't question, they don't try to break out of it, this is just what they know. And of course, there is exception to every rule. There are some bright individuals and brave souls and free spirits that are breaking through that no matter what they're set into. You know, each soul comes with their own charge and capacity to seek their self-fulfillment. But what is the percentage of that kind of brave souls, that highly evolved spirits that are willing to risk and step into the uncharted territory and just go explore the big wild world? Most of the people don't have that kind of charge to break through that narrow corridor that they're sort of forced into. That's why we have 250 wars right here, right now, on our planet Earth, because of that constant social, religious, economical investment into keeping us miserable as a species. There is enormous resistance to a woman in her power, because she might give a birth to a child in his power or her power. So my desire to make this movie is my desire to help us to survive as a species, to understand that it's really connected. In third world countries, C-section rates are 85% now. It's really bad. Why is it bad? Because when the baby is going through the birth canal, all the systems in the little body is being activated. So if you remove that activation mechanism, what do we have? The reason why C-section is so popular in third world countries, because they think that's what they do in America. Because they think that's the progress. And the progress cost a lot, because it's a technocratic limbic imprint that is setting up the need in technocratic world. I have to say that it is really, really awesome that we have that professional help in case of emergency. Sometimes the body just, no matter how much a woman is preparing herself, it's just something is not clicking. And in this case, it's really, really important to have that help. But that's a very small percentage of all births. It would not by any means add up to 85%. It shouldn't add up even to 10%. But I'm talking about those women who are scheduling C-section without even considering trying it first. And the thing is, if there is that emergency that comes in the end after an attempt, it means that the baby still had the chance to have all the chain of amino acids released into the bloodstream from this complex brain chemistry that we all equipped with. So the activation actually happened in the few hours of honest trying. C-section after an attempt for natural birth is not a failure. It's just, when it's life and death situation, you have to do what you have to do, period. It's just what happened. There is no accidents in matters relating to birth and death, really. I've been doing this work for 26 years now, and that's the conclusion I came to. So if there is the feeling that we did our best and that's what happened, that's all we can do, is do our best.